Are you looking to join Cycling Men of Leisure for one of our rides in 2025? We've got a few things on our schedule.
That's right. We'll be attending Big Bragg and also the Bourbon Country Burn.
Big Bragg is in Georgia and Bourbon Country Burn's in Kentucky. Both places are going to be absolutely beautiful. We're going to have teams for both of those events. If you're looking to join us on our team, just send us a message. We'll tell you what to do.
So come on out. It's going to be a good time.
Absolutely.
Well, it's time for Road Adventures with Cycling Men of Leisure, the podcast for cyclists who understand that riding is not just about getting to the destination, but the experience along the way. Now, here are the original Cycling Men of Leisure, Adam and Michael.
Welcome to Road Adventures of Cycling Men of Leisure. I'm Adam, and across from me is Michael.
Hello. How we doing?
Good. Were you excited about after last night's game?
Sure, why not? Yeah.
Oh, come on.
I didn't have any skin in the game either way, so.
You didn't make any bets?
No, I didn't bet any.
Oh, man. Unless the IRS is listening.
The problem with it is I would have probably bet against somebody's favorite team, and, I didn't want to do that.
You would have picked Washington?
Washington almost did it.
Oh, man.
They 34. Were very close.
Actually, it was 2 great seasons. So
they had a lot of opportunities to do big things. So,
yeah,
sorry.
That's okay.
But then I've got to look at the couple times I did bet on Michigan. They didn't come through for me.
Oh, did you take the money line or did you take? No, you wouldn't. You couldn't have because of money line. You would have won.
I would have won, but. I expected more, but anyway, I'm happy for you, brother, that Michigan took it all this year, and you won't get all the razzing that you normally get everywhere you go about not winning the national championship. So
now, listen, I have to tell you that a few of our friends from Georgia even text me because, truth be told, last couple of years they've all come up to me and like, "Go Dogs!" I'm like, "Yeah, I can't really say anything." And the first year we went to Bragg, it was really fun because people would cross the gym would be like, "Hey, Michigan!" I'm like, my name's Adam, but I appreciate that.
Well, if you didn't wear Michigan stuff and be associated with it, you wouldn't have to worry about it.
But a few of those nice guys reached out to me and said congratulations, and I thought to myself, "Yeah, I've been training all season." So
they sat in that chair very well.
That's right. I got a remote in the right hand, sometimes a cocktail in the other. Sometimes, wow. Although I was very critical throughout the season of Jim Harbaugh's timeout and clock play. Sometimes I'm in the house screaming like, "What are you doing? Not using a timeout!"
Yeah, his time management may have left a little bit desired at times, but that's okay.
Anyways,
you guys got it. You're in the books. You're the champions.
But it all changes next year
right now, and it does all change next year.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting next year. So, but yeah, fun year, and appreciate the camaraderie throughout the season. So,
I even said "Go Blue" last night too, in honor of you.
When?
Well, last night we were texting, and I said "Go Blue."
You did.
Even this morning when I was like, "Hey, great game, congratulations to your team," I left it with "Go Blue."
You did. On that one you did, but last night you said what game at first?
But then you told me it's like, well, if my team was playing, you would say, my team thing. So then I said, you're absolutely correct. Go Blue. You can check it out. It's recorded on your
in the cloud
instant message. Yes, it's there.
Well,
not admissible in court, but it's there.
I don't know. It seems like every time I listen to Dateline,
yeah, that's
the cell phone seems to be the number one thing that does people in. So, well, anyways, moving along. So, we've thankful that we had Franklin on, and last couple episodes he he came out for our New Year's special announcement, which was the route announcement. If you haven't listened to that, go back. That was exciting. And then the one right below this episode is kind of a breakdown of the route, and we get to find out that we're going through like where he went to school and where his mom went to school and all kinds of good stuff. So
yeah, our usual breakdown of the ride, a little history, a little facts, things of that nature.
Yeah, it was
so. But I do have to say again, it was awesome because Franklin did trust us, because obviously we recorded the January 1st episode a couple of weeks in advance. So he was nice enough to give us a heads up of where we were going so that we could put that out. So
we were sworn to secrecy.
Men in Black just showed up. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, no, it was really cool. I mean, I even had some coworkers and they know that I'm into the cycling with you and the show, and a couple of guys said, oh, what'd you do last night? And I said, well, I actually recorded a show for the podcast. And like, oh, what was it about? I'm like, it's about the route release coming up in January. I was like, well, where are you going? I'm like, I can't tell you. I can't tell you. And he's like, dude, I don't even own a bicycle. You can tell me. It's okay.
No, doesn't matter.
No, I can't tell you. So
don't tell anybody. We don't know who you know.
So that was pretty cool that he did tell us. And then, but I'll tell you what, truth be told, at midnight, I still watched the video. So I this year was more about my family and with Lauren. And then after the ball drop and everything, then I watched the video.
Oh, okay. I was like, it was more about my family and Lauren, but you're like, I watched the video. Okay. You waited until afterwards.
Yeah.
I hope you weren't like 12:01. Hey, great job. Happy New Year. I'm going to go watch the video.
No. It was like, we're laughing and joking. And then I'm like, oh yeah. I said, before I go to bed, I'm going to find that video, which was really interesting because I think a lot of people had the same idea, because at first it wouldn't load for me. So I'm like, come on, what's going on? So I think a lot of people were watching it. So,
well, it wasn't me. I was not watching it.
That's okay. You were having a good time.
Partying at the distillery, having a good time. Absolutely. Going down the slide.
Backwards, like you're not supposed to.
No, you can go down backwards. You're just not supposed to, Superman.
That's right. I may or may not have done that.
You did. Don't make me pull out the pictures. I got pictures of you Supermaning down the thing.
It was a good time.
It was. Well, so what are we going to chat about today?
Well, what I thought we'd talk about is, since you and I did decide not to go to Ragbri this year.
That's correct.
We are going to have a very low listening show if we don't do something else. And so I felt as though if we would talk about
cycling men of leisure are not riding this year.
That's
We're
right.
just going to be leisure.
We're gonna find our way along. We'll be there with like the Days of Thunder. I'm gonna pit. Not right now. Why not? We're having ice cream. We'll be the two guys with ice cream.
We're having ice cream. Or we're having bourbon. One of the two. The show, we'll just do 45-minute shows of just crickets.
That's right.
Yep.
I'm sure the listenership will increase tenfold. But I thought we could throw some rides out there and just kind of chat about them a little bit.
No, what do you mean? Throw some rides out. What are we talking about here?
Well, the first one is the same week that you and I are going to be in the great state of Georgia. A ride that you have done before, and I believe you've done with your father, BRAN, bike ride across Nebraska.
Yes.
Is June 2nd through the 8th. So unless we can be at two places at once, I don't think we can do that one.
Quantum mechanics does not work that way. So,
but
yeah, that would be a good one to put on the list.
Okay.
I mean, for future rides, I think. See, that's the thing. We're doing Georgia. Georgia is in June. A lot of the other Midwest rides are also in June. They're trying to get it in before the heat of, July and August.
Right.
So the second ride we're doing could be a little difficult to find based upon dates.
Okay. So with BRAN, since you've done that one before, is this camping at schools, or I guess I should say the time that you've done it? Did you camp at schools?
I've done BRAN twice, both of my family. Yeah, what they do is it's very similar to our other rides, like a 7-day ride. You start on the west side of the state, you go to the east side of the state.
Okay.
You have like the host towns. You're camping almost entirely, at least when I did it, you're camping almost entirely at schools.
Okay.
Now I know since I've did it, it's been several years, they're starting to do, like some of the charter services like Pedro's and that kind of stuff is offering. There's tent services now and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's all primarily at like high schools, football fields, things like that.
I know it's been quite some time since you've done that. But when you did, were there any like concerts? Like would there be any events in town that you remember? Or?
Yeah, they didn't really get in, and it's been so many years. So at that time, they didn't really get into the concerts.
Okay.
And I think that's really before a lot of these really got into concerts. At that point in time, it was just a bicycle ride. Now, what you would find is the communities in BRAN were very embracing of it. And there was a lot of activities to do when you got in. The community would do different activities. Maybe they'd have bingo going on or different things for you to do. But I don't remember there being any set up a stage and have a concert.
Gotcha.
Which is okay with me, but.
Yeah, I mean, you and I enjoy just, relaxing and stuff afterwards. But what about from your memories? Again, I know it's been some time, but Nebraska, a lot of hills, elevation?
Depends on the route.
Okay.
Nebraska is a lot like Iowa. It is not flat at all. I won't say at all, but it's not flat. In a lot of places, it's hillier than what you might think. If you're in the central or the southern part, there will be some hills. But if you are in the northern part of the state, like up by the sand hills and that type of thing, you're going to have quite a few hills, a lot of rolling type hills, that kind of thing.
Well, we can definitely put that one on the list for us. Maybe next year. Who knows? But the next one.
Well, now
go ahead.
There is 2 rides in Nebraska, just so you know.
Oh, there is.
There's BRAN, which is bike ride across Nebraska, and then you have what is it? Tour to Nebraska, which is basically a loop ride type of scenario.
Okay.
So there's 2 of them there for anybody who wants to do that. And I think that tour to Nebraska is like a 5-day ride versus like a 7-day ride.
Okay. Well, another ride that I was looking at would also be very difficult for us to do, which would be back. And you've done bike across Kansas.
BRAC. Bike ride across Kansas.
Okay. And the problem with that is the dates for that is the 8th through the 15th. And I don't think we can be at 2 places at once again. So
again, yes. That was a good one. Again, I did that with my parents. A lot like Nebraska, the towns are very embracing of the ride. There you stay at schools. Again, a lot like Iowa terrain. You got a lot of areas of flat, but there is a lot of hills in certain sections of the state. So it's not just easy riding the whole way.
Same thing.
And schools. The other thing you have to worry about is both in Kansas and Nebraska, you get some pretty powerful winds sometimes. I remember my first night of any ride. We were at Nebraska. My family was there. We set up a tent. We're going to go out the next day. We're all excited. That night we had 40-mile-an-hour winds. The tent was literally coming down and hitting me in the face because there were such big gusts. So my dome tent's like flapping down. None of us got any sleep that night. And the wind continued the next day, and they were primarily headwinds. So we had like 30 to 40 mile per hour headwinds on our first day of our first ride. And that, didn't stop me. So I but it was definitely a first day out test.
Memories. Yeah, no fun when you don't get sleep in a headwind. That's for sure. So,
Yeah.
Any events that you can remember, like were there any concerts or anything, or no? Just
Again, no concerts that I remember. Some of the towns did different type of activities, things like that. But yeah, no concerts that I remember.
okay. Well, is that something we should put on the list?
I think it would be great if we could do that. First off, this year is the 50th anniversary of that ride. So it's been all around almost as long as RAGBRAI. I say we put it on the list because if we could time it when that ride ends in where I'm from, Lewisburg, that would be fantastic. And I know since I've lived here, it's ended here a couple of times. In fact, when I rode it, it ended here.
Okay.
So that would be perfect. We end here, we end the ride and then, take the 2-mile jaunt over to the Missouri line, take our pictures, come back. And once we get to town, we'd have like a, quarter of a mile and we're back at the house and hot showers. So
Nothing wrong with that. And then
absolutely.
And then what's that restaurant we always go to when we're there? Timber Creek.
Timber Creek, yeah.
That's right. And we'd have to go down to Timber Creek afterwards and get the biggest steak ever.
I want the biggest steak. That's right.
Well, the next one I found was Goba. And this is 35th
Really?
year of Goba, which is...
You stop. You realize Goba's in Ohio.
I know, but I'm trying to regain listeners in Ohio. So I've...
Oh, because you've ticked them off so many times about ripping on Ohio that now you're trying to say, please come back to us.
Well,
Okay.
I mean...
Fair enough.
I might have said to my father-in-law last night, I said, he called and he said, oh, good luck. I said, hey, what channel is Ohio playing on? It's just a rivalry. It's
and
a
this
fun
is
rivalry.
why we lose listenership in Ohio.
But
Way to
listen,
go.
This year, I thought you would like this. Goba is called the Donut Quest. And it's the 35th anniversary. They're going to have a talent show. They're going to have...
Oh, really? That's cool.
Lots of donuts. So,
wow. Okay. Lots of donuts. Donut ride. That could make for a really awesome jersey, actually.
And then that could actually, like, who knows I'm not sure what it's going to be like yet. They're going to the donut trail. So, and then the next one, if you were retired and you just wanted to keep going on, will be one that I know it's near and dear to you, is Ride the Fault Line.
This is a ride that I've been wanting to do, and I brought it up to you several times. It's at the end of June, I think about the last week of June, 7-day ride. What I love about this ride is a single ride. It's more of a loop type of thing. I think you move like once or twice, but you're doing a lot of loops out. But you go into 4 states. You ride in Missouri, Tennessee, Arkansas, and Kentucky. And you actually ride along sections of the Madras Fault,
Gotcha.
Which is a big fault that I don't think it was like 1909, somewhere in there. Don't hold me to that date. Big earthquake, could actually be felt in Kansas City and did a lot of damage.
Gotcha.
Actually reversed the direction of the Mississippi River for a little bit. So
wow.
It was pretty major.
Well, that is the 22nd through the 28th of June. So not sure about that. I mean, I know with your schedule and everything that might be difficult, but one to keep on the list for sure. And then one I know that you're ready to sign up for is RAGBRAI.
I'm ready to take a hiatus from RAGBRAI. I'm not saying I'll never ride RAGBRAI again, but
sure.
Part of what I like doing is going out and seeing new territory, new terrain, meeting new people. And you can certainly meet a lot of new people on that ride.
For sure.
But, I would like to explore some other states and regions.
I was only teasing. I mean, you and I
I
have
know.
many memories, many great times that I will never trade in and hope to remember for a long time. But yes, we'll take a hiatus this year. I just was going through the dates of different rides, so
That one we could do because that's towards the end of July. So that one would actually be feasible if we were interested in doing it.
that's true. But
Now,
go ahead.
now one ride I am very interested in, not for this year, and it happens at the beginning of April. Cycle Zydeco.
Oh wow, what is that?
It's in southern Louisiana. It's a 4-day ride, beginning of April. And basically you're riding through like southern Louisiana.
Okay.
And what I think is cool is that is actually sponsored. The ride itself is actually sponsored by a hot sauce company.
Oh wow.
The original Louisiana hot sauce is a sponsor. So, I mean, what could be better than that? Some music, some hot sauce, some Cajun food. I mean, I'm in.
Too bad Frank's was busy because I'd put that
Yeah.
on anything.
Beep. Thank you. There you
go. But okay, and that's usually in April, you say?
Usually towards the very first week of April.
Okay.
Again, you're in Louisiana, so you want to get that ridden early to avoid the heat and all that.
Gotcha. Well, there's
what else you got?
There's another ride that is interesting, which is called Ride Shoreline. And so if you think of the top of Michigan or the lower peninsula, the top
do not do your hand.
I'm not. I don't even have my hand up.
Okay. I'm just saying. So you were. I know we're getting ready to go. Well, we're here, and if you're doing the upper,
no, you're doing it for me, so I appreciate that. So. Now, if we were in person, I would say that for sure. So they're kind of switching things up with that ride, and that's kind of what's interested me. It used to be the same route all the time, and this year, what's happening is they're going from Alpena and riding northwest up into Mackinac City, and then you get to go up to take the ferry across, and you go to the island with your bike, and you can ride around the island, be a tourist with everybody else on that day, and then come back, and then ride southwest down to Traverse City. So before, the old route was from Montague to Mackinac City, stops in Ludington, Frankfort, Traverse City, Charlevoix, and Petoskey. But this year they're switching it to Alpena to Traverse City, and that's August 3rd to the 10th. And so, not sure what you think about that one, but
this is interesting because I'm hearing Great Lakes.
Yep.
And you know me, I am a huge lighthouse fan and the history of lighthouses and things like that. Michigan has tons of lighthouses, so that would be cool. Alpena, and I'm not an expert in Michigan, but if I remember right, that would be up towards, like right up near the lake on the eastern side.
Yep.
I know Traverse City is on the western side up near the lake.
Yeah. And
I know that Mackinac City is like kind of right at the very top. So you're going to be going right over the top of the state.
That's
from
correct.
what I would gather based upon what you said.
Well, you know more
I've been
than
up north before.
Yeah, up north. Absolutely.
Up north.
For all of our Michigan listeners, everybody knows what up north is. Now, if you are not a Michigan listener, this happened to me when I first moved here. I moved to Michigan in 1997. At the time, I was working for UPS, and all the guys would be like, "Oh yeah, we're going up north this weekend." I kept going, up north. I mean, what do you mean?
What's up north?
I mean, a mile up north, 2 miles up north. I never understood what that meant. Well, now that I've lived here for like 20 something years, I know what it means. It's pretty much like Mount Pleasant and higher
It's like the kind of the middle of the state and north.
Yeah.
And it's kind of where you run out of the larger cities and the more urban type areas, and you get into the more of the wooded countryside. Yep. The towns are not as large, and it gets very beautiful because when we did Dalmac, we kind of went up along We did a couple of days in the middle of the state, and then you get up close to the shore, Petoskey, those type of Traverse City, and then we ended in Mackinac City. So this would be covering some of the same ground, but starting over next to the water and kind of cutting out some of the riding the farmland.
That's true. So we could definitely consider thinking about that one.
That sounds like a beautiful ride.
That's August 3rd through the 10th. Now, here's what's interesting about the 10th. So you and I are a 2-time participant and finisher in ODRAM. We did
one day ride across Michigan.
Our first year was like 150 something miles, but then our second year we went actually out to the lake and then all the way
165.
East, 165. That ride is actually on August 10th. And so I thought if you did the ride Shoreline and you had a lot of gumption, you could go from.
Now, what day does a Shoreline ride end?
The 10th.
And so you're riding on the 10th, though.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
Otherwise, you could just skip the last day.
You are ending on the right side of the west side of the state. And you just have to get from there you could skip the last day, zip down to whatever the
Bay
Rutland
City.
or whatever the town that it starts in. You could actually make that work and then end up
in Bay City.
Yeah. We'll call Joe and have Joe come and pick us up in Bay City. And that would put us here all the way at the top of Michigan. We'd take a short little skirt down on the car, and then we would ride all the way back across Michigan and end up. So we'd basically do kind of a circle. That's kind of cool.
On behalf of Adam
and Michael,
we both want to say thank you
for your support.
Well, yeah, sure. That's.
You're not sold yet. That's okay.
I don't own the e-bike yet, so I'm just kidding. So, and the other ride that I found was interesting is one that our friend Armando did last year, which was Brat, and Tennessee, which he described it after talking to him in Kentucky when we saw him like a wagon wheel, like you camp at one place and come out and then come back
and then just go out and do loops, similar to Bourbon Country Burn.
Yep. And you only have to set up camp once, and those dates of that I found was September 14th through the 19th. So,
okay,
clear your schedule. I'm just kidding.
Well, you never know. Now, I had a couple that I found that I would like to ride.
Okay.
There is a ride called ODRAM.
ODRAM.
One awesome tour bike ride across Nevada.
Wow.
7 days. It's in September, into September, beginning of October. What I love about this ride is you get to go through several national parks.
Okay.
Which I think would be very cool. Maryland has an interesting ride, which is the C&O Canal /Gap ride, which is an 8-day ride. It's in the middle of September, and basically you follow a big section of the C&O Canal, which was this huge canal back in the day, and you end up at the Cumberland Gap.
Okay.
And then one that we absolutely have to put on the calendar, wouldn't be able to do it this year, but Ride the Road.
Which road?
The Road.
Well, I know. Which one?
Ride the Road, which is in Rhode Island. And you ride across Rhode Island. It's a real ride.
How long does that take?
It's actually an MS ride.
Okay.
It's a 2-day ride in June.
Okay.
And the trick is you ride across it and then you come back.
Same day?
No, you spread it out over 2. I mean, there's no reason to push it or anything. I mean, you might as well enjoy there's a lot of great sights in Rhode Island. I'm a big fan. So, but I think we should do that sometime.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Because everyone teases us all I mean, when you and I are together and we've ridden across states, the first time a lot of people say is, "Oh,
Yeah.
Rhode Island." I'm like,
What, Rhode Island, Delaware? Yeah. So then we could say, yeah, we rode across and back. And I know some fantastic restaurants in Rhode Island.
okay.
We would be eating well those 2 days. Guaranteed.
On your dime.
I'd treat you to a little seafood in Newport, Rhode Island. Absolutely.
All right.
So that gives us, I don't know what, 12, 13 rides.
Yeah.
But there's like 4 or 5 of those that the dates don't work. So we're probably looking at 7 rides out of what we've mentioned that we could probably do, 6, something like that.
Well, we got to pick something this year.
We do. We'll need to really get in and start figuring that out. Obviously, flying with our bike is not a problem. And that's the big thing that people look at, or that you should be looking at. And some people have asked us, it's like, well, I'm relatively new. I feel a little scared about doing this. How do I pick a ride? If you're not scared to fly, it's all really about your comfort zone. And we have no problem flying. So really any of them that we mentioned, we are viable if we just find a good date. So if anybody out there's ridden any of these rides and has any feedback, shoot us a message on Facebook or on our email or something, and tell us what you think. Or if you've never ridden them and you just like, I think those guys should go here, send it in. Or if we haven't mentioned a ride, I mean, we'll pretty much ride anywhere.
As long as it's not Alaskan Airlines.
Oh, we can ride in Alaska. I don't know if I'm going to fly Alaska. And good thing is we typically use another airline that we're not going to mention, but
no, because they don't pay us to mention them. So
that's right.
I actually feel bad for that whole 737 MAX thing. That's just horrible. I mean, your father was in aviation. My father's in aviation. Interesting talking to him, my dad, and all the problems with that airplane. So,
oh yeah, a lot of it.
Obviously no fault of Alaskan Airlines. So,
no, and they found them on other airlines the same problem. So
yep, the bolts loose on others. You're absolutely right.
Door plug or whatever. So, yeah. Well, the good news is everything made it out of the sky safely. So that's a good thing. All right.
The one thing I'll say is the airline that we do use, sir, doesn't own a lot of those jets. So
yes, thank goodness.
Well, that's cool.
It does not.
Well, I'm interested. I mean, we got to pick something here. I'm trying to work everything out with my schedule, and I know your schedule being respectful to you, and you actually have children that are in elementary school and middle school and stuff. So trying to figure out what we can do, and we're going to pick one because we already, obviously we're going to Georgia. I'm super excited about that. Our team, I heard from Stephanie,
let's talk about the team.
The required 10 people, so we know we're getting the jersey. So if you are looking for a team for Big Brag 2024, men or women, if you're a man, we can put the Cycling Men of Leisure logo on the jersey. If you're a lady, you could pick. I don't care. I mean, I would assume that you want Cycling Women of Leisure, but you could do Cycling Men of Leisure. I'm fine with either. So
totally up to them.
But just know that you would be able to choose that.
So we've got our 10.
Yep.
I think we need about 15 more.
Okay.
We've got at least 10. So I say we need about 15 more.
Sounds good to me.
And we've got several ladies,
yes,
who've said that they're signing up or who have signed up. So we need a few more ladies to represent Cycling Women of Leisure. So,
and 2 of them, Annette and Mandy, have already committed to coming back. So, which is really exciting because that was the total ladies team last year, and the 100% participation from the ladies team will be back this year. So,
awesome.
Well, cool.
So that'll be fun. So, if you're out there, you need a team, sign up.
Absolutely. And if you've already registered on the Bragg page, he put on there, I say he, Franklin, the director, put directions of how to go back in and edit your registration. Just go back in, pick cycling men and women of leisure. It's one of the drop downs that's already there, and that's how a lot of people have been able to sign up. So
cool. We don't have to do what happened last year, and we had to contact them, or the people had to contact them and say I wanted to change or wanted to add a.
No, they can go back in and we'll do some finishing up and polishing up our list and making sure of those who have reached out behind the scenes and said, "Hey, we want to be on your team." We'll once we get the official list, we'll make sure they're on. So
that'll be exciting. Absolutely. Last year we had the biggest team. We keep rolling. We'll have the biggest team this year too. So
that'll be
cool.
Awesome.
Love it.
Cool. Well, appreciate you coming with your rides. Both of us can go back. Any of our listeners, like you said, if they have any advice on rides, we'd love to hear it. I mean, we are looking to throw the dart at one of them. So, or maybe two, who knows?
You never know. Crazier things have happened.
I was going to say, we pulled
2 years ago, I think we did like 4 or 5 rides. So you never know.
That's true. Cool. Well, you know what I always say. You just told me that your kids were home because of the weather today. So
yes,
what is not a good day in Kansas today would be what?
Well, let's just put it this way: it's a great day for a bike ride somewhere other than where I'm at.
That's fair enough. That's kind of weird. You have more snow than I do, sir. So
yeah, I've been out there shoveling. So.
Well, you know what? You got to get your training in, so I'm proud of you.
I figure why not? It's good exercise, and we were only supposed to get 1 to 3 inches, and I think we got like 6 to 8. So they were a little off, but that's okay.
Perfect. All right, sir. Thank you so much. Everybody have a great day. We look forward to catching you on the next episode.
Take it easy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for coming along with Adam and Michael on Road Adventures with Cycling Men of Leisure. If you have enjoyed this, please subscribe to the show on the podcast app of your choice.
Hey, we just wanted to remind you that we've got some really cool products at our jersey and our swag store.
That's right. You can visit cyclingmenofleisure.com. At the top of the page, you'll find our stores page. Click there. There's 2 QR codes. The one on the left has a J on it. That's the store for the jerseys. The one on the right is just a swag store. Has all kinds of different items. Kind of customizable. You can kind of make the swag the way you want it. If the QR codes are giving you an issue, don't worry. Underneath, there's 2 buttons that you can click on. Thank you, and have a great day.